Hey guys, and welcome to my 3-year Japanese progress update for learning with immersion-based methods. Um, Hi, if you are new to the channel and you've never seen one of these videos before, I would say you could watch all my other videos and then come back to this one and you'll be caught up. But this video will basically go through everything that I did from the beginning of my Japanese journey, which actually began in 2018, all the way up until now, which is 2023, June 16th, the day after my 3 year. I'm sorry, I screwed up. So, but today I'm gonna talk to you guys all about that. And the coolest thing about I'm finally getting to do a 3-year video, and a lot of people like Phantom Madman and other people I've seen in the community. Once you hit 3 years, it's like, all right, the videos usually stop around 3 years, and that's like a good stopping point to show what you did in that amount of time, and anything after that is kind of like, yeah, okay, you're just gonna keep going in this direction, whatever, we get it. So I'm gonna do one of those videos basically, and we're gonna go through everything in this one. So to begin, if you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Aaron, Tiger, Tiger, hypothetical Tiger, however the hell you know me, that's me. What's up? I've been learning Japanese with immersion-based methods for now 3 years, since June 15th, 2020. However, I did learn some Japanese before that, and I think this is something that I'm excited to finally talk about more in depth, because I feel like some people confuse my journey, and some people think it took me 3 years and I got to this in exactly 3 years. No, there's still some give or take, but 3 years of like immersion-based stuff. So, I originally started learning Japanese at the beginning of 2018 in January. Now, the reason why I started learning Japanese is because in 2017, a friend had me watch the movie Your Name. And so, this is also a part, I don't think I've ever mentioned this. I watched it originally dubbed. And then from there, I was like, whoa, anime, what the fuck? And then I started moving into watching anime in Japanese. And that's when I was like, I'm spending a lot of time doing this shit. I should like learn this language because it's awesome. It sounds cool. It looks cool. I'm spending so much time with it. It'd be cool to try, because that friend who showed me Your Name originally was learning Japanese for an extended period of time at that point. And it's like, oh, well, they're learning Japanese. I want to learn Japanese too. Fuck it. So I basically, from watching Your Name and getting sucked into anime, eventually was like, you know what, we're gonna do this. We're gonna learn Japanese. And let me tell you, I screwed up immensely. That the whole beginning of my journey before immersing is truly what you should not do if you want to learn any language, not just Japanese, but especially Japanese. And I'll go through and I'll tell you some of the things I did and some of the reasons why it's helpful, and it's definitely something that I'm glad I did, but also some of the reasons why it's like useless and you don't need to waste your time. The best way to categorize my first from 2018 to 2020 is a waste of time in terms of Japanese learning. Now, a lot of things happened in that time for me, so it's like it wasn't like a waste of time in life, but it was a waste of time in terms of if I wanted to get good at Japanese, I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing. So to start, I didn't know what to do, and I look up how to start learning Japanese, and you find a bunch of videos, a bunch of YouTube videos, all this stuff, whatever. Eventually, I'm like, okay, I gotta learn hiragana and katakana. I'm like, okay, first 2 alphabets, I can do that. I found a website called Tofugu, and they had things where it taught you every single hiragana and katakana. Most people watching this video has probably seen the website and seen that exact article. You click on it and it has like little different like mnemonics for each characters to help you remember it. One of them was like chef, I think, but I don't remember what character that was for. But yeah, I did that. I was in high school at the time, and I was in senior year. So, well, at that time I was not senior year. I was a junior. And I literally just sat in my classes and I would write in a notebook, and I wrote hiragana over and over again. I would go home and I would have worksheets and I would write hiragana over and over again to learn all the hiragana, and then say with katakana. and I took about 2 weeks to learn hiragana and 2 weeks to learn katakana. First of all, wrong. Don't take that long. You don't need to take that long. It's completely not needed. The best way, in my opinion, also, disclaimer, everything I say in this video is going to be my opinion. I might say some hot takes, might annoy people. I'll give reasons for why I have these opinions, but ultimately, it's my opinion, and it worked for me, and I'm not saying everyone has to do it. I'm not saying that if you do it a different way, you're wrong exactly. It's just definitely for me, certain things you don't have to do that a lot of people say you have to do. So I'll give you some tips. But yeah, I did that for 2 weeks each. While I was in class on my school laptop, I found a website where it was like a matching game, and it would have all the hiragana, and it would have the sound, and you just kind of match. And I would just play this over and over and over again. Then I moved to the katakana one, I would do that over and over and over again. And eventually, I was pretty comfortable with writing hiragana and recognizing it. Katakana I could write, but recognizing was like, ugh. So it took me about a month to get through the beginning 2 alphabets, which in my opinion is way too long. And the best way to go about it is just get a rough idea of what you're looking at. Like, look up hiragana, learn the sounds for every character, obviously. You don't really need to try and learn to write it. It's not really needed. You don't need to practice them every day. If you just get a good understanding of them, like semi good, could be shaky, and then you move on and you start doing Japanese stuff, I promise you that by the time you're 3 years in, you will have no problem reading hiragana or katakana, and you won't even care that you don't know how to write them, because genuinely, I'm gonna say right now, hot take, who cares? It's all just so people could brag on the internet. So once I got done with hiragana and katakana, from here on out, I don't remember all the exact details, but I can tell you basically what I did, for what I can remember, like the important parts, but not every detail. This is going to be a long video also, by the way, so I hope you're strapped in. So after I learned those two, it was time to learn grammar, because I was like, well, I gotta start learning some grammar pieces. Kanji matters. However, I was like, okay, let's start learning grammar and, try and make some sense of this. Started reading Tai Kim's grammar guide. And from Tai Kim's grammar guide, I learned a couple words. I read through maybe like 5 sections only. And then from there I was like, I can't do this. Like, I don't understand what he's saying. This doesn't make sense. Like, I can't view this in a Japanese way. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. So I ended up going on YouTube, and I can't say all of the people I watched, because there probably was more before her, but Japanese Alma with Misa is the YouTube channel that I stumbled across. I started watching her videos and things. I watched the first video of her beginner series, which is about wa and des. Okay? That's all it's about. And I just remember, like, when she would write on, like, the little board she had, she would put, like, Pikachu wa kawaii desu. And when I read that, and when I heard that, I was like, okay, I get it. So wa, like, I started figuring it out. I was like, all right, cool. So I took notes. I don't have these notebooks with me. They're probably still at home. But I took physical notes of these videos, because at that time I was so interested in learning that I was putting a lot of energy into it. But I just genuinely, in my opinion, wasn't putting the energy into the right place. So I had so much fun. I would write notes. I would pay attention to her videos. I would learn. I would try to do like a couple videos a week. And then once I got like an okay grasp in that, and she started introducing more kanji, I'm like, all right, okay, well now I have to learn kanji. And in order to learn kanji, I decided, from what I could find on the internet, I eventually stumbled across Wanikani, like a lot of people do, and I got the free trial, and I think it's up to level 3 or level 4, and I did that. I was doing that at school. You can ask people who knew me in high school from like end of junior year all the way till I graduated in high school. I did a lot of, especially beginning of senior year and junior year in the end, I did a lot of just Japanese stuff. And it was just like on my computer, like I was doing like my reps for Wanikani like every day at school. And the best part about that is that did help me. Okay, WaniKani was helpful in that I did become more familiar with kanji and they weren't all weird anymore by the end of that time, by the end of level 4 even, and I learned some words. Now, during this time of me after learning hiragana, going into some grammar, doing WaniKani to start learning some kanji and stuff, I wasn't immersing or doing anything. I was still watching anime, all with English subtitles. I was still reading manga with an English translation. I was doing everything in English, even though like I'm supposed to be learning Japanese. And I would sometimes in class like look up little short Japanese stories that I could like read, and I would read them and I couldn't understand what the hell they were saying. I could maybe read like a sentence and be able to read it but not understand the meaning or anything. So I wasn't doing anything really. It was just all like getting all this knowledge here, but it wasn't being put to use, wasn't being built on, nothing. So eventually, it came around Christmas time. By this point, I was doing more Misa videos, and I want to say very specifically, so people know this. Yes, I did all this before the immersion, but you're gonna see that it didn't really amount to anything. Like, it did, but it didn't at the same time. Like, with the Misa videos, I don't even think I got to the point where you learned about, like, passive verbs or anything, or stuff like that. So, I didn't even get far in her basic grammar series, and if you go on her channel, there's a lot more after that point. So, I didn't really make it that far. I didn't even make it to that point. I stopped videos before that. So, my grammar knowledge never really made it to anything crazy. I tried to read manga every now and then in Japanese from ones I would get. Like, I had volume 1 of Karakai Jouzun no Takagi-san, and I would read it and I was like, I don't know, I can't get past chapter 1, like, it's too hard. Like, what does nani shiten no mean? Like, I literally read nani shiten no, and I read it and I was like, why is it shiten? What does this even mean? Like, so I did not know much at all. And eventually, towards Christmas, WaniKani always does a sale. I conned my parents into buying me the lifetime subscription because it was on sale. And I was like, because I loved WaniKani. Like, genuinely, at that point, I loved WaniKani. I used it every single day. I was like, this is the correct way to learn kanji. It was great. Now, fun time during my WaniKani experience, I saw a YouTube video by Matt vs. Japan talking about how WaniKani was bad and RTK was the way to learn kanji. Now, I don't have a lot of memory of this, but I know I've seen that video before later in this story. I saw that video, and I got mad because I was like, what the hell? I'm doing WaniKani. Stop telling me that I'm wrong. Like, this was so dumb, and I feel so stupid, but, like, this is how I felt. I was like, it's working for me. What do you mean it's the worst way to learn kanji? What do you mean? Like, I'm literally learning. I'm doing great. I know 500 kanji. Like, I don't even know how much I actually knew. But, like, I like, and even if I knew 500, I didn't know 500. Let's be real. So it's like, I was like offended. I was like, my method's wrong. And I think a lot of people feel this way when they're putting a lot of time into something, and someone may say like, you could do that better. And a lot of people just get defensive and they don't want to be wrong. And I get it. And I definitely felt it there. And I should have listened to the video there, but instead I closed the video and I moved on. I was like, no, I'm using WaniKani, I'm doing all this, whatever. And I basically continued this throughout 2018, from the beginning to the end of 2018. Little bit into 2019, and then basically like 2-3 months into 2019, I was basically done with Japanese fully. Not done. It's weird. I was taking like a long break because it was senior year of high school. I started hanging out with friends a lot more. Like, social stuff happened, like met people and like all this stuff, and it was like, well, I don't really have time to do Japanese all day, and I was like having more fun doing this stuff, and it was the end of high school. I'm like, let me have fun with that. So basically the first year, I'd say I did stuff. Was it good? Did it really help me long run? A tad, but that's what I did during my first year. And then from like March 2019 all the way to like probably like May 2020, I did next to nothing. I would still listen to Japanese music because I love Japanese music even when I wasn't studying actively. And I would watch anime every now and then, read manga, but once again, it was all English, so it didn't matter, really. I would sometimes get the motivation to try and read some manga, and I really mean try, because I would attempt and it would go terribly, and I would give up, and I would say whatever. So once we get around 2020, everyone knows what happens in 2020. In March, we had the pandemic. And then once I was at home forever, I kind of was just sitting there, did my classes and stuff. And then when they finished in May, I kind of just, because I was in college at this point. So when they finished in May of 2020, I kind of just had nothing to do, because it was like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. So I ended up playing a lot of video games, and then eventually I decided to come back to Japanese. And not come back to Japanese, like, it was kind of just, I'll try to read some manga. Did that, and at this point, it's been a year, it's been like 2.5 years almost since I originally began. And I still didn't really know much, couldn't get through a chapter of manga. I don't think before Immersion I finished a volume of manga. Not even a volume. I don't even think I finished like 4 chapters. Like, it was really, really not good. So, I don't know what happened or why, but eventually, around the end of May, early June 2020, I found a YouTube video by Matt vs. Japan about RTK and about Wanikani. And at this point, I wasn't doing Wanikani anymore because I stopped basically all Japanese at that point in 2019. And then, just didn't really use it. Also, for example, I'm thinking, I just thought about this in my head. For dates and stuff, like, I say it was early 2019 that I stopped, but I want to say I probably did more than that. I'm not sure exactly when, but sometime in 2019, Japanese was put on the back burner. Before June, 100% before June, it was put on back burner. But the first half of 2019, I still did stuff. But yeah, I finally decided to watch that video by Matt vs. Japan, and everything he said made sense, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I started watching more of his videos, and the more and more I watched his videos, the more and more I came to the realization that, okay, the way to learn this language is to do Japanese stuff, and that's it. And when I when I realized that by watching Matt's videos, I kind of I was like, all right, I'm doing this. Like, it was almost immediately that I can remember sitting in my bed watching the video, and then afterwards I thought, okay, I can do this. I'm going to get good at Japanese. And that moment is a moment that has truly changed my life forever, because yeah, learning in 2018 and starting at first is great. That did a lot. The moment that I said I'm doing this with the immersion based on watching Matt's video is what really changed it, because as soon as I said I'm doing this, I did not stop. Like, I kept doing it. I was like, all right, it's happening now. And basically from then on out began the existence. That night, I literally, after I finished watching his video, I started watching an episode of New Game with no English subtitles, and I just watched. And at that point, I've watched New Game multiple times. I love New Game. I even read some of its manga while I was in high school towards the end, because I really enjoyed it. And I watched episode 1, and I did not understand a lot, barely anything, honestly. But the rush I got from finishing one episode of anime in fully Japanese was awesome. It was really cool. So I just was like, all right, we're doing this. And I kept doing that, and basically from then on began my journey of watching a bunch of anime in Japanese, starting to read manga. Because of Matt's videos, I downloaded Anki, and I began doing all that stuff. Now, the way that pretty much handled this in the beginning of my immersion time from 2020 onwards is I am someone who's I'm a big supporter of Japanese subtitles, and that's because I think it's the easiest way to be able to listen to something and watch something, but then also getting a little bit of reading practice. But with also, it makes it way easier to start really like embedding words, because if you watch everything with no subtitles, if you're looking up stuff in like written media or you are looking up stuff in that show, yes, it's helpful. But if you like, it's easy, especially at the beginning, to hear words and think that you know what they mean, but you don't actually know what they mean. So seeing the subtitles like actually show the words written out, you can really pick out like, okay, that's a word I know. This is how it's read. Like, and it really like starts like shit just gets punched together, and you start getting like you get it. So I watched a lot of anime with with Japanese subtitles when possible, but I did watch a lot of raw anime, and I think raw is definitely probably if you really want to do this like a better way than I did, I think I probably should have started with some Japanese subtitles, and when I hit a certain threshold of Japanese understanding, just rip off the subtitles altogether, and then really train my listening. I didn't do that. Instead, I was watching with mainly Japanese subtitles, some raw, but then a lot of my immersion actually came from a manga. Before that time of getting back into Japanese in 2020, I was reading manga just in English. So I was already in like ooh, I love manga, like let me read manga type of phase, which worked great for me with the immersion, because I would just put a volume up on my computer and I would try to read it. And I would look up words if they were in an I+1 sentence, which, if you are unaware, is when, say you have a sentence of 5 words, 4 out of the 5 of those words, you know and you understand. Like, if say it's English, if say the sentence is, I am a blank, okay? You know I am a, but you don't know what the word blank was, okay? You look that up. Let's say, for example, the word is cat. I am a cat. You didn't know cat. You looked up cat. Your dictionary's like, yo, dude, this means cat. And you go, okay. And then you read it again, and you go, all right, cool. That's cat. Basically, did that with a bunch of manga, made Anki cards out of those I+1 sentences, and kind of just like kept doing that in terms of trying to get somewhere. From there, I would watch. I had a sentence mining deck, but I also had a deck of the the Tango N5 deck, which is a great like pre-made deck that gives you the M5 words from the Tango books, and I was working through that in order to get a base vocabulary back, and like actually like get like a really strong base while immersing, so it would actually form into a base. And a lot of those words in the Tango deck I knew or I remembered from a while ago, from like the 2018 stuff. So this is why I'm saying like doing all of that definitely helped me, but overall I don't think it had a crazy impact. Like, it let me skip some words in the Tango N5 book. Like, that's basically it, because a lot of the words that I skipped were just like ones that Wanikani gave you, because they gave you kanji and then actual words. So I was going through the Tango N5 deck while sentence mining. And then for grammar, I was trying to read through Tai Kim, because everyone says read through Tai Kim, and I agree, read through Tai Kim. It's just you need to be prepared, because it sucks. I'm sorry, I don't like reading grammar. Maybe everyone else does, but grammar fucking sucks. Like, I don't want to read grammar. Like, the Japanese grammar itself is pretty not that bad in my opinion, but reading about it and trying to learn it sucks. So I would read Tai Kim. I would try to read a section like a day. And then I did I did all that, and I would get some grammar like help by watching some Misa videos. Like I would watch them because I liked her, and it was a good thing to put on and like pay attention to. My nose is itchy. I'm so sorry. Put on, pay attention, learn some stuff. So that was basically at the beginning of my immersion all I was doing. I was doing my Tongo N5 deck, creating a sentence mining deck where I only did 5 words a day, or 10. I don't remember exactly. But I did not try to put a lot of words in there a day because I knew I had the Tongo deck. And I think I was doing 15 a day in the Tongo deck. Then I would read Tai Kim's grammar guide and watch Misa videos for grammar stuff. Other than that, I would try to watch as much anime as I could or read manga. And I think one takeaway from the beginning of my immersion learning journey that I can now look back on now, the decision that made this way easier for me personally is reading manga. I personally love reading manga, and even though the Japanese would be hard sometimes and I wouldn't understand, I pushed through. And I think if I didn't read as much manga as I did in the beginning, or in general, my Japanese would not be at the level that it is now. I'll get into it later when I mention some stats, but I've read a fair amount of manga now in Japanese, and a lot of words that I know have come from manga, to the point where I can hear a word and I go, oh, it's from that series during this scene, or just like, oh, from that series. So manga was very helpful to me, and something that I'm glad I did. Basically, from the 2020 point onwards, you guys can check out my actual like update videos for those, because I'll give like more in-depth stuff about what happened in that time period in those videos, because I was in it, like I was living the time period. So right now I'll give like a little like understanding from there to like what it took to get here. But if you really want like more in-depth stuff, you should definitely watch those other videos. But this one should be helpful enough to like understand what you would want to do if you want to. I kept immersing. That's basically the moral of the story is going to be a lot of I kept immersing, and I did immersing. So I immersed, watched stuff, and I read stuff, still making cards. I did the Tongo N5, N4, and N3 decks while sentence mining the entire time. I think if you are able to do that, like if you come into immersion with a small base of Japanese, that means you don't need to start at like hiragana and katakana. I think that what you should do is do Tongo N5 and sentence mine, and just do those 3 Tongo decks. A lot of people say Tongo N3 isn't worth it. I think having pre-made decks is probably, hot take, one of the best things you could do. Yes, sentence mining is great. Yes, it increases your like connection to words, and it makes it easier to remember because you made it yourself. You remember it from this thing. Like I said, I can remember it from manga volumes. Yes, all that is great. But especially at the beginning and at times of low motivation, you having a pre-made deck saves your life, because you don't need to worry about sentence mining 5 cards that day. You have your 5 cards or your 10 cards, your 15 cards. Doesn't matter. You have them. They're there in that deck. And you can sentence mine as well, or you can just not sentence mine that day, and you still learn words. So it's like awesome. It's just great. So I recommend doing Tongo N5, N4, N3 decks. Once you finish N3, only sentence mine. But do sentence mining throughout all 3, or do Tongo N5 and maybe halfway through N4 start sentence mining. Just while you're doing a pre-made deck, try and sentence mine at some point during the pre-made deck. It doesn't need to be at the beginning. So that was one of the biggest things for me, because you learn a lot of words, not just from the Tongo stuff, but you learn stuff from sentence mining as well. And that's how I built up my word vocabulary. A lot of those words, like I said, came from manga. I did not mine a lot from light novels, but I do read light novels, and I mined a very small amount of words from there, but I mainly used what the hell is it called? I feel stupid. Hold on. I can't remember what the hell it's called. Yomi-chan. Yeah, Yomi-chan's great. Use that for light novels to get words, and I would just like hover over them, read them, and then just go forward. I would like just try and pick them up by seeing them enough and not really worry about mining stuff from novels and light novels. I think if I would have done that, I probably would know a lot more words, but I'm okay with it, so I don't really mind. I would watch anime. Not many words came from anime. If anything, the anime was very helpful for me not to learn words, but to reinforce words that I learned from manga. Because I would read a lot of manga, and then I would go watch the anime counterpart. And then I would go, okay. And like, it would really help me learn the words that I learned in my decks in real time, because I would see it in the anime and, be all good. So that's basically what I did for most of it. And I don't remember when in the journey, but eventually I stopped watching Misa videos. I read through Tai Kim probably like, and not even the whole thing. If you read I'm so sorry. This video is completely like over the place everywhere and everything, but I don't write a script for these. I just have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 topics, and that's it. And I just go off the head for everything. So you're just getting me, okay? I'm sorry. But I don't know when I stopped with Tai Kim and Misa, but I read like halfway through the Tai Kim guide. Like the final section is like special topics or advanced topics in the grammar guide. You only really need to read like 2 sections. Like, I'll go on it right now and I'll say exactly what you need to read. So if you go to Tai Kim's Guide to Learning Japanese, his grammar guide, I only read, at this point I skipped the writing system. So I read basic grammar, essential grammar, and half of special expressions. Do that 3 times and then literally just like read and watch stuff for the rest of your time, and you'll never need to know grammar ever again. Like, you'll never need to read a grammar guide. So I gave up Misa at some point, gave up Tai Kim, because at that point grammar was just words. And the best part about when grammar becomes words is you can just sentence mine them like normal words instead of being like, oh, what does this mean? And the best part is Japanese grammar, there's a lot of forms of the same meaning or slight nuances, so you can really just learn it very quickly within context a lot of the times too, and things just make sense once you've read a lot. It's hard to explain, but sometimes you read something, and even though you never looked it up, you can tell by the feeling. Like, you feel in your head what it means, and you, based on the context and everything, it means that, and you look it up and you're like, yeah, it does mean that. All right, cool. So that's what grammar becomes at a certain point. So you don't even need to read all of Tai Kim's grammar guide. Just read those couple sections like 2-3 times and then move on with your life and immerse, because you might think that reading the Tai Kim grammar over and over and over and over and over and over again until it's perfect is going to be what gets you perfect grammar and understanding. But what gets you that perfect understanding of grammar is going to be reading and seeing it a fuck ton in every type of media over and over again until it's not grammar anymore and you don't even really like separate. Like, when I'm reading Japanese, I don't separate a word from a grammar point, or if I'm looking up a word, I don't separate a word from a grammar point. I just read it and I just look up what I need to look up, and that's it. And I think you want to get there with grammar as soon as possible and get rid of grammar guides, because honestly, if once you hit a certain point, you're just wasting your time with it. So just immerse and you'll get the same like usage. Like, you'll learn the grammar from just immersing. So why waste your time reading like a textbook type thing, especially if you don't like it? If you love grammar and you love textbooks and stuff, sure, read Tai Kim, but like over and over again fully. But I don't think you actually need to do that. And I personally did not do that. Another part that we go across with my journey, I'm just thinking of things as I go, so I'm so sorry, guys. I should have been more prepared, but that's just how it is. If you made it this far, first of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions about what I said or you want clarification, you can comment on the video, you can DM me on Twitter, you can reply to me on Twitter, you can ask me in Discord. I'll put my Discord down below. Yeah, just ask me and I'll get back to you. I'll try to answer. I'm bad at answering messages sometimes because anxiety, but I'll try my best. Another thing, so to continue, another thing in my journey that I ended up, everyone tells you to do, and I did it, but I think it is overrated, and I'm going to spew some hot takes, and there's probably going to be people, even people I'm friends with, who'll be like, yo, dude, you're wrong there. And I might be wrong, and that's fine if I'm wrong, but personally, I think this is way better, and it saves a headache for me, so fuck it. I'm doing it. There's a thing called the monolingual transition. Now, after you've been learning Japanese for a while in terms of immersing, especially if you watch update videos, you'll start to hear people talk about making the monolingual transition. Have I made the monolingual transition yet? My experience with the monolingual transition. I'm about to tell you the secret, okay? I'm about to tell you a secret. I don't think it's worth it. That's kind of like a little bit of a joke, but then also really serious at the same time. I think the monolingual transition is something you should do if it interests you. However, just because you're not using a Japanese dictionary does not mean you're not learning Japanese. And it does not mean the words you're getting are wrong. That is the biggest thing that people say, is that the English version that you get is wrong compared to the Japanese version. And yes, it loses out on some like parts of it that are only conveyed in the Japanese meaning, or like is attached to it in the Japanese way, rather than like just reading the English word doesn't always give you the full story. I 100% agree with that. However, with my experience with the monolingual transition is I got to the point where I could read a Japanese dictionary and I would learn words, and yeah, it would help me like learn like the idea, read the definition of the word better. But I don't know about you. I'm not here to learn definitions. I'm here to like learn the word. So it became in Anki. I would just do it and I would read, like, I could understand the definition. I knew what the word meant, but it didn't feel as strong in my head as something if I just looked it up in an English dictionary and kept that. And I'll explain. Certain things with Japanese, like dog, you can obviously look it up in English dictionary and it'll be dog. Like, it'll easy to translate that stuff. Some things you can't translate. And this is why people tell you to use a monolingual dictionary at a certain point, because they don't want you to fill your mind with bad English translations of Japanese. Yeah, fill your mind with it, because if the only way, in my opinion, that it's going to become a problem that you're not using the monolingual dictionary is if you are not immersing. Because the thing that people bitch about is you you miss the real meaning, and you're not learning the correct word. But if you use the dictionary for what it is, it's supposed to be just a reference. You read that definition, you go, oh, this word means kind of like this. And then you move forward. Guess what? You're going to have, like, eventually, you'll know the meaning of that word 100% in Japanese without ever having to read it in a dictionary. And I'm sure that reading in the monolingual dictionary maybe speeds up that process and makes it a little like easier. For me personally, I don't think it's worth it, because I would read it and I would just like, sometimes you just get tired. It's like, I just want the definition in like now. And I found that when I'm given the English definition and I immerse for a couple 100 hours, eventually it doesn't matter that I got the English definition or a Japanese definition. I know the word because I've seen it so much in context in my immersion that it's like, why would I, like, I get it. I understand. And I think that's what a lot of people want you to get to, that point with the monolingual dictionary. But it's kind of not needed if you just immerse anyway, because as I'll mention, like with all that stuff, it's just, why force yourself to do something that may be harder, may make your brain a little more confused, just to seem like you're better at Japanese or you're getting the better experience. The dictionary is a reference to what that word could mean in these specific situations. And you take that definition and you just say, okay, that's kind of what the word means, and move on. I think personally that is the best way to do the monolingual transition. Do it if you want. If you want, do it. Open up the Japanese dictionary, go for it. If not, guess what? You're probably fine. Just stick with English and just immerse a lot. I think it only becomes a problem is if you are reading the English definition and that is hard coded in your brain. That's what that word means, because it's not. You want to learn exactly what that word means based off of seeing it and like the content. So that's probably my biggest hot take, is that the monolingual dictionary, like a monolingual transition shit, is kind of just like, I don't want to say a scam, because it's definitely worth it in terms of reading more Japanese every day. If you use them, one thing I will not dispute, if you use a Japanese dictionary, you're getting way more Japanese than I am, just because you're reading the Japanese in the dictionary all the time. But guess what? I don't fucking care about Japanese dictionary Japanese. I don't care. I'm not here to read that. I'm here to read my manga and figure out what the word Genki means. Okay, like, you don't need to fucking give me the Japanese dictionary of Genki, Japanese definition of Genki. Okay, just tell me a little thing and I'll figure it out when I read. Okay, I'll figure it out myself. So if you're here worrying about the monolingual transition, or don't know how important it is, or like think it's make or break in your Japanese, just don't think that, please, because while it's great, and yeah, it definitely is probably better to do overall, it's definitely not needed, and you can get the same understanding of a word whether your first definition was English or Japanese. That's one thing I just want to say, is don't stress out about it. It's fine. You really don't need it. And yeah, there'll be people in the comments probably saying, "Oh, you need the monolingual transition." Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. Like, literally, like, this part is so much for me like an opinion that I do not care. Like, people can tell me a million reasons why you need to do it 100%. Your Japanese is fucked, and I just do not care. And I think it's okay to not care. And I think there's a lot of things that people say in the community that you can read and go, I don't care, and then do it your own way. But the monolingual transition is probably the biggest thing, and it's something I definitely wanted to mention, because I don't know if I mentioned that in other videos, but it's definitely something that I've come to think 100% at this point, is that I don't care, and I don't think you should care as much either. I think you'll be just fine without it. Now, sure, someone might hear my Japanese or see my understanding, if you could like pull it out of my head and get like a percent, and they'd be like, if you use the monolingual dictionary, it'd be so much better. You suck. And I'll be like, yeah, whatever. I suck. Like, sure. Like, I'm fine with being bad at Japanese. I just like, I only care about my own thought process about it in terms of like whether something helped me or not. I think things that people in the Japanese learning community online get really confused is what is most effective and what is most effective for you. Okay? Sometimes there's an objective thing where it's like, yeah, this is probably the way to go. Okay? Other times it's like, but this one works for me more. Guess what? You should just go for the one that works for you more, even if it's not 100% like what everyone else is doing. I still think some of the core concepts, like immerse a lot, and, you know, that's it, immerse a lot, and look up words that you don't know when there's one or two words, like when it pops out to you, probably a good thing. A lot of other things are just like extra opinions that kind of like, in my opinion, take away from the whole picture. So don't get caught up in having to do everything on the AJATT checklist that Katsumoto said on the website fucking God knows how long ago. Because, yeah, I'm sure if you do XYZ, it gets you a little bit better. You might not like doing XYZ, and guess what? You're fine. You'll move forward. As long as you have the key of looking up words and immersing, I guarantee you will get better at Japanese, and you will not have to fucking worry about whether you knew the correct fucking meaning of X word because you looked it up in your Japanese dictionary, or you looked it up in your English dictionary instead of your Japanese dictionary. I don't think these are things people need to be worrying about, and I think it's a part of the community that people really need to shut the fuck up about. Like, I think a lot of people need to just like preach the core value of, you should, if you want to learn a language and you want to learn it probably the best and most fun way, I'm saying probably, because it's just probably to me as well. Nothing is real. Nothing is 100% backed, in my opinion, so with this shit. So it's just like, if it's fun for you and it works, you should probably do that. I think if you're not immersing daily or consistently, you are not going to make as much progress as someone who is. But the reason of that is because you're not immersing. It's not because that person's using a monolingual dictionary or because that person's using Japanese subtitles. I think there's things you can bend and twist as long as you are immersing, but I definitely think that some things are better to not bend because they will get you more, like, somewhere faster. Like I just mentioned the subtitles thing. I think probably, like I said, start with subtitles and then get rid of them is probably better because your listening will be way better than someone who only uses subtitles the whole time. But even then, you still both know Japanese. It's just like certain skills are better than the other. So this was like a long like rant and like bullshit that I just said for no reason. But the end of the day with it is just pick something that works for you as long as it's based on immersing. As long as it's based on immersing, I think you're probably good. I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, maybe everyone's gonna watch this and go like, "You're the dumbest person I've ever like heard talk on the internet," and I'll go, "Yeah, probably." Like yeah, sure, like that's fine. But like, I just think this is just how I see it after doing this for 3 years and having some sort of outlook on what has helped me and what has not helped me, and what is a core concept that needs to be done, and what's something that's kind of fluff and doesn't need to be done. Whew, I feel like I just went through a bunch of stuff with that. Other than immersing, looking up words and stuff, doing the grammar and then stopping, there's not much else I did, okay? Like, genuinely. When it comes to speaking, I do not speak very much. I prefer to listen, and I listen to a lot of Japanese. I talk to Japanese people, and I hear a lot of Japanese. I don't necessarily speak a crazy amount, so my speaking kind of sucks, in my opinion. It could be better. I want it to be better, and I'll talk about it in a bit, how I have plans that will make it better. But in terms of like 3 years of existence, it was mainly immersing. For the first like year and a half, 2 years, like probably year and a half, Anki. If you're gonna give up Anki like I did, please, for the love of God, just make sure that you learned a good amount to where you can give it up, because you don't want to give it up too early. I gave it up at a point where it's like, I think I'm fine now, and I don't need to do Anki, but I know that if I did do Anki or do Anki, it would be way better. If you give up Anki, be prepared to not learn as fast as you did with Anki. Around the 1.5 year mark, I probably stopped using Anki every day, and I'd say I probably learned more words from the first year to year and a half mark than year and a half to 3 year mark. But my Japanese is still way better. But it's just because I don't have a consistent like slamming these words into my head every single day. I definitely learn words from context and while I'm reading and looking them up, and then it just sticks, or I'm told something, but I don't actively study words ever, really. And I probably should, and I kind of want to. I do have Anki installed on this new computer. I say new computer, but I got it a while ago. But to you guys, it would be a new computer if you knew me. Yeah, whatever. But on this new computer, I finally got Anki installed. And I do want to try to do 5 words a day, because 5 words a day is a lot. That's like 2,000 words a year. And if I added 2,000 words to my Japanese vocabulary, I'd probably be at like a really, really good spot. I don't know. Well, we'll say that for later about word talk. But just if you're gonna drop Anki, drop it in and understand that you're not gonna move as fast. But if you've hit a certain point, it won't really negatively affect you. I do think Anki is still very important, and you should probably do it just because of how much words you can learn in 1 year just off of doing 5 a day. I think you should always do 5 a day. Try your best, because it's just, you could really, like, in a short period of time, absolutely, like, make your vocabulary sick. So, I love Anki. I don't do it anymore, but I would like to. Basically, that brings us up to present day, because if you asked me what I did in Japanese now, I can tell you right now. This is what I do almost all day. And yeah, it's a little, like, dude, come on, get some, go outside, something. Yeah, whatever. Um, I play video games all day in a Discord call with my friends. The video games are all in Japanese. I only play Japanese video games now, or games that have a Japanese dub and subtitles. If there's no Japanese audio, I'm not playing it. So every game I play is Japanese audio or subtitles if there's no audio in game. But if there's audio, it has to have a dub. I do that all day. Watch an anime episode if I feel like it sometimes. Watch YouTubers if I feel like it sometimes. Read manga when I feel like it sometimes. Read light novel when I feel like it sometimes. I have a friend and I call them basically every day, and they speak Japanese, and I hear that all the time, every day, and that's all I really do every single day. I don't look up a lot of words, but that is because I don't really have to. I definitely have a lot of words I could learn. It's just there's a lot of words where it's like I don't see the point in looking this up. I think I should have mentioned this earlier, but I think once you hit a certain point, you should focus on your sentence mining on instead of every I+1 sentence. Only really focus on words that you've seen 2-3 times and you're like, damn, I've seen that one 3 times today. Learn that word because it'll help. So I don't really look up words often unless they're really sticking up like that, or I really for some reason want to know what it means, and then I'll look it up. But other than that, I'm not looking up too many words, but that I'm still learning words, I promise you. I'm context, people telling me stuff, like I'm definitely learning. It's just not as fast, and for me that's okay. It's more of like I'm just at this point I am living life, and Japanese happens to be a large part of my life. But there's no distinction of whether it's play or study. It's all play. I'm having fun with it. And I think that is the goal that everyone should get to. I think once it stops feeling like study, because even in immersion, until you hit a really good spot, like a solid spot of Japanese, it feels like study. Because it's not easy. But once it stops feeling like study, and you can just do this every day without thinking about it. Like, I don't think about it. I just get on a game and it's Japanese and I'm playing. That is where you want to be. And I think that is when, at least for me, I became happy of where I was at and like content overall. I think I was always happy with moving forward. Always happy with just the fact that I was doing this. But once I hit the point where Japanese is just in my life and I do not even think about it anymore. It's just every day something I'm doing Japanese, like multiple things in Japanese every day, all day. That's where I'm like, all right, I've hit a good spot in Japanese. I still, this should go in the next segment. But quick, I still don't think I'm anywhere where I want to be and I can still move forward. But I've hit a very, very nice spot that I am comfortable with and happy about. And I know a lot of people might think I'm really good or people want to hit my level. I never want to come across as someone that you need to oh, that guy thinks he's great, he's doing good. I want you guys to make it to where I am. And I'm not very high compared to other people. There's so many other people that are better than me at Japanese, and one day I hope I can get better and get close to them. But I'm not in a crazy position. And yeah, it took 3 years plus a little bit before that to get here. But it wasn't like I'm a superhuman or I did anything crazy. I just followed some basic rules and I just did that over and over again. So everyone can do this. 100%. Everyone can learn Japanese. And you can get to a point that is a comfortable level. Like a very comfortable level. I don't want to say the F word because I'm still mixing with myself when I want to say I am at that point, because I don't really... There's some people that I know are better than me and they might not call themselves fluent. So I feel wrong if I would ever say I was fluent. But in terms of understanding, I can get through a lot of things I want to watch, a lot of things I want to understand, and understand with a very high level of accuracy to the point where yes, there are still words I don't know. Yes, I still sometimes have to reread things or sometimes I don't understand. But overall, I function very okay in everything that I want to do in Japanese. And it's like a very for what I want to do, because there's different genres of everything, and if you go into politics, I'm going to look like someone who has never studied Japanese in their life. But if you do some like games and like manga and movie and anime and normal like dramas, I operate fine. I have like a functional fluency. I don't know. I don't want people to take the fact that I said that word. Now people are going to be like, this guy thinks he's awesome at Japanese. No, I think that is an okay thing to say about where I am, because it's not a barrier anymore. It's just a life thing. And if I want to get to like fluency, I need to definitely get better at understanding, but my speaking is not there. And I think speaking is part of overall fluency. I think understanding, I'm at a competent level of understanding to where I can say I'm functionally fluent. Speaking, I'll say I'm conversational and I can do it, but I'm not proud of it, and I want to get better at that. Whew. That should be the end of the first section, the story up until now. We only have a couple more sections left, and honestly, they probably won't take that long. So we're nearing the end. So if you got this point, thank you so much. I know it was all pushed together, and like I probably said things that didn't make sense, but it means a lot that you're here, and I'm having fun talking about this because I never have an outlet to talk about this. So right now, the next section is my current feelings. Let's actually write down right here my current feelings towards Japanese / language learning in general. I still love Japanese, and it's going to be a part of my life for a long time, and I'll go into that more in the plans for the future. I have no plans, 0 plans on learning another language. I have 0 plans in really caring about language learning as a hobby or anything like that. I don't even really look at Japanese as a language learning experience anymore. As I mentioned, I view it as I'm living my life. And this is being able to look at where I am now. Part of me is getting a little emotional just thinking about it, because it's genuinely, this has been something I've worked hard for years now, and it all started in 2018, and I wish I had a picture, but I literally, in my room in 2018 when I started, I saw something online. It's like, if you want to make a goal, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, hang it up in your room. And I wrote on that piece of paper about how I wanted to learn Japanese. Like I mentioned, I wanted to read a chapter of Yotsuba. I wanted a volume of Yotsuba. I wanted to be able to talk to someone. And the overall end goal, kind of stupid without really knowing much about the country or ever being there or a bunch of stuff, my end goal was live in Japan. And I look back on that picture now, and it genuinely makes me want to cry, because 2018 me genuinely would be extremely proud of where I am. And I think that a lot of times people worry about their current existence, and they get all caught up with I'm not good enough, or I need to be better now, or etc. But they never take time to think about really where they came from. And when I think about 2018 me, I know how much Japanese that guy knew. And the fact that right now I play games like I'm playing Yakuza 0 in Japanese, and I've been having a great time. I'm like 46 hours in, but the fact that I can play Yakuza 0 fully in Japanese and just play it as if it's a video game would literally make 2018 me the happiest kid in the world, because it means I did it, and it means that I did a lot of hard work, and I got to a very like awesome place. And I'm very happy about how far I've come, and I think that there's still more to go, but times like these are like awesome to just look back and think about really how much effort and how much time it took. Because once I get into these stats, after I mention my plans for the future, you'll see about when I say like how much time and stuff. Like if you convert these time periods, these stats into real life time, it's a lot. And it sometimes doesn't feel that way because you just do it. But looking back on it, I'm truly happy, and I'm proud of myself because if anything, learning Japanese for these past couple of years proved to me that I can do, I don't want to say whatever I want, but if there's something I want to do genuinely, I just got to go do it and I can make it happen. And I think a lot of people have that ability, whether they know it or recognize it. And I think it just takes one thing for you to really show yourself that you can do it. And like I've said before, I'm not very special. Nothing about me is special. Nothing about the things I did was special. I'm just kind of like a loser who has a lot of time and put a lot of that time into Japanese. And if you're someone who wants to do the same thing, you can do it. And it doesn't even need to be a lot of time. I've said this before. I think some people say you need to do it all day. If you can get 2 hours of good immersion with you're reading your grammar guide and you're doing your Anki deck daily, if you can do that for 6 months to a year, the amount of Japanese you'll have learned is insane. So it doesn't even need to be a crazy amount of time. You just need to consistently do it and do it with a purpose rather than just like put something on the TV and like, oh, I'm learning Japanese but no subtitles. No, try to listen, try and get better. If you're trying to get better and you do this consistently, you will get to the point where I am. You will get beyond me because I'm not even anywhere close to where I could be if I really, really went harder. But I think I did enough for what I did, and I'm happy about that. But I'm not done. I don't want people to think I'm done. So I love Japanese. I love all the opportunities that this has gave me. I love all of the people that I've met. I love that I decided to make these videos and the impact that I made on other people's journeys or just lives through making these videos. I love that. It makes me very happy, and it's something that I hold near and dear to my heart. The whole Japanese learning experience for the past 3 years has truly been an amazing portion of my life because I'm in a completely different part of my life when I started than where I am. When I originally started Japanese, I didn't graduate high school. When I originally started immersion, I was in my first year of college. I'm now graduated college. I'm an adult now. And a lot of things have happened in that time period. And there's a lot of it that I can say I'm thankful and grateful. And a lot of that came from Japanese. And it's a reason why, like, to me, this isn't just I'm playing video games, I'm reading manga, I'm doing whatever. Yeah, I'm doing all this, like, bullshit stuff to learn a language. But to me, this has been a genuine journey through a lot of different things, really getting to know myself, spending a lot of time with myself, and really, like, growing as a human throughout this entire time. And I don't think I would have had a lot of cool moments and a lot of cool growth moments without Japanese. I think that's basically my current feelings. I don't want to keep talking too much because I might start crying. So we'll move on to the next section, which is plans for the future, which we are at 1:03:30. So plans for the future. I already tweeted this, but I'm going to Japan. I ended up getting an internship offer, so I can go and I get to be in Japan for 3 months. And I'm super excited. I gave up on moving to Japan because I applied to the JET program and I got denied. I applied in November. I got denied and everything. So I gave up and I was looking for jobs in my major in America. And then I eventually got this from this Japanese company. I was talking to them and all this stuff. And I now get the opportunity to go live in Japan for a couple months. And I'm hoping assuming I enjoy these couple months, I hope it can get extended farther, or I can find a different opportunity to extend this time period past these 3 months. But starting in August, I'm going to be living in Tokyo and by myself, and I'm super excited about it. I'm super nervous because I've never lived on my own in my life. when I went to college, I moved out of my parents' house to a dorm room. And then when the pandemic hit, went back to the parents' house, and then went back to the dorm room to finish the first 2 years. And then came for this final 2 years of college. I've been living at this house exclusively, and I rarely go home, and this is my home right now. So this is going to be the first time that I'm living by myself. And it's not just by myself in like a new city, it's in a completely new country with a new language and everything. And without this journey, I would have never have had this opportunity. I would have never wanted to go out of my comfort zone and move to a completely different country. Because if anyone knows me, I'm a very shy, anxious person a lot of the time. So it's not like me to just want to get up and go somewhere completely different and, change, uproot and change my entire life. But because of Japanese, this is something I want to do, and I'm super excited about it. So my plans for my future are I'm going to go live in Japan. I'm going to try and talk more. I will have to talk more while I'm in Japan. The internship is all in Japanese. So I will be speaking Japanese every day, all day, basically. I'm going to try and make friends, try and do cool stuff around Japan. Still going to read books, still going to play games and all that. But I'm going to basically just take the deep dive into Japan and see what happens. And hopefully I have a great time and I come out of those 3 months wanting more. But if not, I'm glad I did this. This is, to me, a giant step in life. And I think I'm so young. I'm only 22. I'll be 23 in March. And I figured I'm young now. I might as well take some risks and do some fun things and really experience life, because who knows how long this will last, or something might happen and I can't do this. So I'm gonna do this. I'm definitely losing money off of this experience, but I think overall this will be worth it to me, and I'm very, very, very excited. I can't even put into words, because it just feels like everything about my life from the past 5 years is finally accumulated into one big boss battle climax. It feels like a boss battle, even though it's not the end, but it's wow. It's just, it's genuinely insane to me, because I 100% gave up on this idea and I wasn't worrying about it. And then I got this opportunity, and now it's wow, I'm extremely lucky, and I'm grateful that I have this opportunity and that people believe in me and that I was able to get to this point. And it's not just because of Japanese that I got to this point. It's because I went to college, and because I got 2 internships related to my work, related to my degree, and I had an on-campus job during college. I did a lot of things, including Japanese, to build so that I could receive this opportunity. And I'm so glad I did. And there's just a lot of happiness and a lot of anxiousness about it. But overall, I'm ready to make this the best time in my life and truly experience some cool things. So yeah, that's my plan, is I'm just going to enjoy Japan. I'm going to keep living how I live now for the next couple months, play games all day, do nothing, but all in Japanese, have fun. And then once I go there, it's like a new story. It's like a new chapter. So I'm super excited about that, and I hope that you guys all stick with me on my Twitter, or maybe I'll upload YouTube videos every now and then. Maybe, I don't know, but I hope that you're able to see that experience, those experiences with me, and be along with me, because I know that a lot of people watching this video, especially if they've watched this to this point where it's an hour and 9 minutes. They've seen my original videos, and they probably saw them at the close to their release. So you probably do see yourself growing with me. And I think that's one of the really cool things about these videos, is I don't just show my growth, but I know everyone watching can use them as a way to be oh, when I watched that video, I was at this point in my learning journey, or I was at this point in life, not even just learning journey, life. And now I'm here and things are so different. And I think that's a really cool thing to be able to have on the internet and share with people. It's an experience I get to share with all the viewers, whether they tell me about it or not. because I know there's people who are reflecting on themselves as they watch this, and I'm glad that we all got to share that time together. And I want you guys to be able to see my path from here, because I can't guarantee I'm gonna make a 4-year long video, because I don't know if there's a point, but I will try. I want to try and, like, if I can, make some YouTube videos and, like, update you guys on life, and, you know, make this not just like a, you saw my update videos and now I'm a stranger. Like, check me out on Twitter, Discord stuff. You can talk to me, I'll talk to you. I just want to share this with everyone, and because, yeah, I got here because I did all the immersion and stuff, but if I didn't put up these videos and get all the support and love from everyone who watched them, it might have been hard to continue at times. And so I really do appreciate all of you, because it means a lot to me. This whole everything means a lot to me. So I think that's about it for plans for the future. So let's go to my stats. I'm just writing down the timestamps so I have them. To start, over the last 3 years, I have read 582 volumes of manga. I've read 42 light novels, including God knows how many started where I got halfway and or didn't finish it or got a quarter. I have watched, according to AniList, 22.7 days of anime. Definitely not the biggest anime fan, like, lately. It's kind of hard for me to watch it and just stay invested, so that number is not as big as it could be, but 22 days is still hefty. I've played over 1,000 hours of games. 750 of those hours have been in the past 6 months. So I'm truly going hard on the gaming. I've listened to God knows how many hours of phone call of of someone speaking to me in Japanese. I've watched God knows how many hours of YouTube. No one knows how many tweets I've read in Japanese, because my Twitter, especially at certain times of the night, is only Japanese because no one who speaks English is online, and so there's a lot of Japanese. There's more Japanese than I could really, like, even express, because there's Japanese everywhere. I have Japanese in my room somewhere. I have this is a stat. I've passed the JLPT N2. I took it in December of last year in 2022, and I passed. I have my certificate right there. I want to take N1. I just I don't have a reason right now, and because I'm moving around, like going to Japan, and I don't know what happens after Japan. I don't want to schedule to take it in December, so I'm just, like, waiting till I'm, like, settled down, then I'll take N1 and I'll pass it. that's my plan. I don't want to fail, so whenever I take it, I will pass. That's my goal. I will work hard for that. But there's just been so much Japanese into my brain that it's impossible to even, like, give a number or give a real estimation of anything. But those are, like, the hardcore stats that I was able to have and from websites and stuff. And I think I don't look at those numbers enough, so I don't ever really think about how much that really is. But 582 volumes is a lot. If you average that at an hour a volume, which, if it's not, like, a really easy manga, and I can read most volumes in an hour without having to worry about it. So that's, like, at least 582 hours of reading. 42 light novels. Shit. I don't know. You average it, like, 5 hours a book. I don't know. It's like, that's a lot. Anime, the games, like, I've done a good amount of Japanese. And I think, obviously, the biggest number right there in terms of, like, reading is manga. And like I said earlier, I think manga was a very big help to me, and I highly recommend it. If you love manga, you should use that as the way to get really good at Japanese, because manga will kickstart you, and you will be able to read. By volume 100, you'll be able to read a good amount, and by volume 200, you'll be able to read even more. When you hit 500, you'll not even care anymore. You'll just be reading manga because it's manga. I'm almost at 600 volumes. I wanted to hit it before this, but I couldn't, because I wanted to read through. I'm reading through Yu Yu Hakusho, and I wanted that to be my 600 volume, was the final volume. And with life and time, I couldn't read a volume a day in a certain amount of time to hit, or like multiple volumes a day to hit this date. So I kind of just, I didn't. So I didn't. But I'm hoping that in the next year I easily hit 600. Hopefully like 700 volumes of manga, especially with that time being in Japan. I will read a lot when new releases come out because it's easy to get a new release and just read it there. So I want to hit 700 volumes. I want to get back into light novels. I've been saying that forever, but I want to hit at least 50. I eventually want to hit 100 because that'd be, I think, 100 light. If I can hit 1,000 volumes of manga and 100 light novels, at that point, I'm gonna hope that I'm fluent in Japanese because otherwise, I don't know how much longer it'll take. But that should be pretty fucking good. And then 1,000 hours of gaming. Would love to hit 2K. Like I just want to hit as much hours as possible in that. Anime, I don't care. That could go up or down. It doesn't matter. I just want to enjoy life, like I said. So yeah, those are basically like all my stats. I'll just keep rambling if I keep talking. So we'll move on to my conclusion and the end of this hour plus video. Hour 15, 50. Awesome. So to conclude, as I mentioned before and through a lot of things that everyone has already heard through this video, I'm very happy. I'm in a really cool point in my life with a lot of interesting experiences coming up, and I've done so much to this point. I didn't mention it, but I did visit Japan in May. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know that. But I visited Japan in May, and being there just fueled my Japanese and everything to the point where I want to go back so bad, and I'm super excited I get to go back because I've just hearing and seeing Japanese everywhere. Instead of being anxious and worried, I was mainly just at peace with it, and it was so like calming to walk around and just be in that country. So I'm looking forward to being fully surrounded with Japanese again because it definitely relaxes me. It's one thing that I get to I relax with Japanese still. I don't get frustrated. I just relax. I love Japanese, and yeah, I'm so happy that I did this and that I got to this point, and I'm here today to be able to show you that I got to that point instead of making a couple videos and just never showing up again. I appreciate all the support. Anyone who's ever answered a question I've had, whoever is ever asked me a question, like anything, like if you know who I am in any way, not even related to Japanese, like I genuinely love you, and I'm so happy that I got to cross paths with you in life because it's made my life better in so many ways. So I'm just so appreciative and grateful, and I hope that everyone watching this video does whatever they want to do, whether that's learning Japanese, learning Korean, learning Spanish, learning, I don't know, German, French, whatever, Italian, like learning how to, learning how to play a video game competitively, learning how to play chess, learning how to play baseball, basketball, sports, anything. I hope that whatever you want to do, you can do it. First of all, you can do it. And I hope that seeing my little journey and a little part of my life has helped you get to the point where you think that you can do it and you really dive in and do it, because there's no better time to start than the present. I know that's dumb as shit, but if you start now, you're going to be in a way better spot 5 years from now than if you start 10 years. Well, the best time to start was yesterday or some shit. Whatever. Fuck it. Stupid. But yeah, you just dive in. The beginning sucks of everything you do when you're bad or when you don't understand a lot. It sucks, and it's where you're going to want to quit the most. But as for someone who's gotten through the beginning and a lot of different things in my life, whether that's sports or speedrunning or now Japanese, the happiness you feel after the beginning and when you can really start to make progress and do some hardcore work and gains, that's going to be worth every second of the struggle at the beginning. So just get through it. You can do it. You just got to put yourself out there and just make attempts. Because if you never make the attempt, you won't really know. So I love you guys so much. I do want to put up a video of me speaking Japanese. And I don't think that's going to be today. I don't even know if it's going to be tomorrow or when it's going to be, but I do want to eventually release a video on YouTube of me speaking in only Japanese. so that everyone can kind of see where I'm at in my speaking and, make fun of me because it's bad. But I do want to show that off because it's the only part that I've really not talked about fully. And it's just because I'm nervous about it and it's not great. And I want to be able to show you guys something like semi-decent in terms of my ability. And like usually whenever I start, like I can talk to myself in my shower perfectly. Sounds great. Hit the record button. I can't speak a single word. So I do want to show you guys, and I'm planning on showing you guys. It's just give me a little bit more time, okay? I just like, it's not that I can't speak. It's just that I'm like, there's just too many like of my own thoughts and stuff that I have to get over first. But that truly, it's not even that big of a deal in terms of overall thing because I don't worry about speaking too much. Like I said, I will be focusing on it when I move to Japan and stuff like that. But the main thing for me is understanding, and I think I'm in a good spot to where I can talk about my experiences, and I'm fine with that. Speaking, you guys will know eventually. It's not the worst, but it's also not the best, and I don't feel like hitting record, stop record, hit stop record over and over again right now, just because I'm too much anxiety built around it or a lot of stuff. So I will get that video to you guys. There will be a video of me speaking Japanese on this YouTube channel. I just don't know when. But yeah, thank you guys so much. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. If you watched it and you had a great time, thank you so much. Thank you. Please subscribe if you want. Like the video. Feel free to comment and let me know what parts of the video you like. If there were things you disagreed with or things you want more clarification on, or you want to talk to me, ask a question, anything, feel free to leave that in the comment. In the description, we'll have my Twitter and my Discord and some other social links related to Japanese stuff. Check those out. You can message me on those websites. If you don't want to put it in YouTube comment, you can DM me directly. You can at me publicly, whatever. Like I said, I'll try to respond to as much as I can. Love you guys so much. I'm going to literally end this call and then probably get into a call with my friends and start playing Yakuza. So that's what I do. So I appreciate it all so much. I know this was a mess, as I've said 4 times now, so making even more of a mess. But thank you, and I'll see you guys in either the next video or on my Twitter or wherever I see you. But this will not be the last time that you hear from me or that you hear about my my Japanese journey in general, especially if you follow me on Twitter. So thank you guys so much, and have a great day.